Welcome to Module 9, Presentation in Academic Writing. While it is satisfying to finally finish a piece of writing, and the hardest part, that is, the revising of the final product that has been done, the next step is preparing your work for final submission, whether it be to a professor in a course, a journal for publication, or an organizing committee for acceptance at a conference. Editing and proofreading come at the very end of the writing process and are more granular in nature than revision. As mentioned way back in Module 1, this is when you go from writer mode to reader mode and assess your writing as a reader. In this module, we will be building on our understanding of style and flow and examining the final stages of the writing process. As you complete work on your opinion piece or letter to the editor from the previous module, applying the editing and proofreading strategies we will discuss here, you will engage in a peer review of a classmate's draft based on the readings assigned in Module 8 and 9 from our text, Elements of Style, as well as a list of questions I prepared based on the style guide from that text. This will prepare you for Module 10, when we will begin work on a problem-to-solution paper based on your problem of practice. Now, you will have reviewed and practiced all of the stages of the writing process and will be ready to apply what you have learned to this larger writing project over the last few modules in the course. By the time you are ready to prepare your writing for presentation, you have completed a very thorough revising of your first draft. You have read your work aloud and taken time to consider the piece as a whole. The revision stage, you will remember, I hope, is when substantial rather than superficial rethinking occurs. This is the big picture stage, when you have re-examined what you have written in terms of your claim, the overall purpose of the writing, how well you have addressed your audience, how effectively you have organized your information, and how thoroughly you have developed your assertions and used your supporting evidence. During revising, you are checking that paragraphs have relevant topic sentences that accurately introduce the subject of the paragraph, and that every paragraph relates back to the argument. Within each paragraph, you have checked that sentences flow together, and the last sentence of each paragraph prepares the reader for the following topic sentence of the new paragraph. Take a look back at the questions I suggested for revision in Module 1's lecture. As we all know, the stages of the writing process are recursive. After revising, you should leave your writing for at least a day so that you can examine it with the fresh eyes of a reader. While revising is addressing larger issues in a piece of writing, editing is getting down to a more granular level. It involves polishing your writing, looking at word choice, sentence structure, and flow, and ensuring your writing is appropriate for audience and purpose. This comes down to evaluating each sentence. Have you chosen the most precise word? It requires looking at the structure of sentences and how they are connected. Editing is looking at the connection between ideas as well. Are they clear? Does the end of one paragraph flow smoothly into the topic sentence of the next? Above all, editing takes time. Reading your work aloud is highly recommended to help you at this stage of the writing process. One of the most important parts of editing is the very granular process of rereading every sentence. Each sentence should be clear, concise, varying in length, related to the surrounding sentences, and getting to the subject and verb within the first few words. Let's take a look at two sentences about the same subject that illustrate these characteristics. See if you can see why the second sentence gets at the important subject more efficiently. Here's the first. Quote, "Since most undergraduate students change their major fields of study at least once during their college careers, first-year students who are not certain about the program of studies they wish to pursue should not load up their schedules to meet course-specific requirements, end quote. And now the second. Quote, most undergraduate students change their major fields at least once during their college careers. So first-year students should not load up their schedule with program-specific requirements if they are not certain of the program they want to pursue, end quote. Using this technique of reading aloud helps us to hear whether or not a sentence is well constructed. I hope you agree that the second sentence gets at the subject of the sentence more efficiently and effectively. Proofreading is the next step in preparing your writing for presentation, the final stage of the writing process. It means looking for errors. This covers grammar, spelling, punctuation, as well as the overall appearance of the writing, including margins, font, and discipline-specific formatting. In the case of this program, APA. Do not rely on spelling and grammar checks available on your computer or online, although you may consider them the first step. Instead, check each word. Have you checked those you frequently either misspell or use incorrectly, for example? Check each sentence for comma use and end punctuation. It's more common than you would think for a writer to leave off a period at the end of a sentence in the rush of writing. Have you capitalized names and titles and italicized published works? Do one more check of formatting. Again, as stated by the Education Library in an earlier module, rely on your own eyes and knowledge of the citation guidelines as provided in your handbook, rather than an online citation service. Again, you might want to review Module 1's lecture, which covers all of the steps in the academic writing process. Throughout your professional career as an educator, you will want to represent your ideas to a wider audience and to establish yourself as an expert in the field. Writing opinion pieces or letters to the editor of important newspapers, magazines, or journals is a way to enter the public discussion around an issue. Lending your expert opinion can serve not only to inform the public about an issue, but also to persuade a wider audience of a position you are taking. In this module, you will hone your skills at informing and persuading by finalizing an opinion piece or letter to the editor about your identified problem of practice. You will also be providing a peer review of your classmates' writing based on your understanding of revising and the style guide provided. We are a community of writers in this course, and you will find your own community of writers as you progress through your academic and professional lives. Having peers who are willing and able to help us re-examine our own writing by seeing it with a fresh pair of eyes is a much needed and valuable source of honing our craft. Having a peer review of our writing is a helpful part of preparing our work for presentation. I'd also like to end this lecture with encouragement about your use of Twitter in this course as a personal learning network, or PLN. This is another venue for sharing ideas and establishing your public voice. If used properly, and I mean restricting your posts to professionally relevant content, the Twitter community can lead to collaborations, conference invitations, offers to publish, and just to growing an online presence in your field. You may even find other educators and professionals who will serve as peer reviewers of your writing. That's a very good thing. So keep posting and developing your public voice on issues of importance to you, even long after this course ends. Here are some optional additional resources that I've placed in the module to help you moving forward in your academic writing with revising, editing, and proofreading in particular. Some are comprehensive and some are just fun. The Grammar Girl site, for example. I also follow her on Twitter. The Duke site has a number of handouts related to all aspects of academic writing. There's a link to one about clarity and conciseness, which can be helpful in the revising and editing stages. And the University of North Carolina link will take you to a page of tips and tools, which include flow, revising, word choice, grammar, and style, among others. These are optional, but may be helpful to know as you continue in the program and you're in your own academic writing life. As always, I look forward to reading your work.